Hey everyone, how are we doing? My name is Tim Pongaraz and this is Focus on Detailing. Today's video is all about a very spontaneous purchase. So a bit of a backstory before we collect this thing. It's actually owned by one of my customers and I'm always to and from her house delivering it, picking her car up, cleaning it, then dropping it back. And this old rig that sits in her garage, it's been sitting there for many years, 30 plus years actually, so it's got a nice layer of dust sitting on it. And a year or so ago, she said she wanted to get rid of it, and I didn't really think much of the comment because it was a bit of a spur of the moment thing. And then just recently, not too long ago, really, I was with my dad when we dropped off her car, and she said she wanted to sell it. And at that time, her husband was with her, and they both agreed to it. And then both my dad and I looked at each other and thought, you know what, good timing, it wasn't overly expensive, and the fact that it had a decent backstory to the car that hopefully we'll go over later, we just said, let's just grab it. And this is it. Yeah, I'm filming everything. You want it gone?
No, meaning it's sad.
Yeah, it will all be recorded.
But we're happy to wear it tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus. See? Old technology.
We're not making like they used to.
You did have that for those.
Sorry, Jenny.
Sorry.
I don't mean to cut in front of you.
But, that hasn't got anything. Nah, that'd be right. Oh, are they?
You hope that cable doesn't break.
Good on you, Tim. You might be paranoid about spiders always.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure. You don't mind being filmed a bit, do you? Oh, you put that tiny bit of wood grain on already, didn't you, for the dash, or?
No, I just stuck the dash on it.
Yep.
And the other one screwed it to the top.
Okay.
It's just not on doing the oil fitting.
Yes.
Which is just a tube that goes in the back of the garage.
Radio. Alright.
So the plugs are there.
Oh, far out. Yep. Yes. Alright, use the wiper now, see what happens. Oh, you get those wipers, Belle. Vicious. Do it again. Oh, she knows. Is that the new cruising car? Or he's having a good time? Big thank you to Mildura Towing, fantastic job getting this thing here. Now, to check out what's there and what's not. Have a bit of a squiz inside. What do you reckon? Holy dooly. But it's good because apparently all the stuff for the interior is in the back right there, plus the hubs. Vinyl-y leather stuff. Oh, I don't think it'd be leather, it'd be vinyl. In pretty good nick after a good clean up. all the nuts and bolts are apparently scattered, so I'll have to be careful of that. And all the wood grain for the interior has been refurbished, so we just need to put it all back together. Top job. Now what's most impressive about this is, even though it's been sitting in that shed for 30 plus years, it just took a little bit of tinkering, and I mean near on nothing from the owner, to get it started. And that's this footage here. Marvellous though. It starts.
Our son said, oh, you're kidding yourself.
There you go. Pretty good.
I couldn't believe it. It's fired up. There's no choke on there. So we scoot it out.
Now it might look a little strange with all that chrome trim missing, but the owners have informed me that all of that is actually in the car. So that saves us a lot of time and money. We're going to be fixing those all on in good time and see how it looks and go from there. We still need to make some purchases that'll probably cost a little bit, but that's unavoidable. You've got your broken plastics and stuff like that, as well as the blinker across the front there. I've already had a quick squiz on eBay, and yeah, it just depends where you go and on what part of the world, but it's all needed for a roadworthy and to get this thing back cruising. It'll probably be quite a bit of time before that's the case, but it's all exciting and all part of what needs to be done. The paint is showing its age, but I mean, you've got to remember, it is from 1959, and I kind of like it. It shows its character and the stories that it has to tell. There's not really any rust at all, apart from the standard spots. There's a bit of surface rust there, but all the panels are really straight, which is great. And I'm really happy with it. Step one was getting it to our place. All well and good now. Happy to see it here. The next step is to get it into its new home properly, which means moving some of my stuff around, including the BMW. Now for the next challenge. Finding space for the Mercedes. But this is the final piece to the puzzle. We'll put some air in those tyres, and we're going to attempt to push it back into there. See how we go. Watch out, Tucker. So he just wants to get in the way, does he? Yes, he does.
Momentum.
I know, but I can start it again, but it's not going to go anywhere. That's right. How much room you got over that side? Oh. I can do it. Woohoo, we've got it in. But Shaylee and I can't take complete credit for it, because the neighbours, awesome neighbours, did come across to help us out, because as soon as we hit that grass, it was incredibly hard to push in here, because it is quite heavy, but everything sits in here perfectly. Rather dusty, even my car, the BMW, but we'll worry about that later. Bit dusty. So if you don't already know, what we've scored ourselves is a 1959 Mercedes 220S. Now it might look like it needs a lot of work, and it probably does, but the thing is, everything is there. It just needs to be put back together and assess the damages basically of the existing stuff to see what needs to be replaced. So for a first project car, I believe it's perfect. Speaking of project cars, I'd really appreciate it in the comments section if anyone could give me some tips or pointers of the best way to go about it and how to start, because there's a bit to do. The previous owner of this car was sad to see it go, but also happy to see it go to someone that's gonna look after it, and it's gonna stay in the community. It really isn't that far away from where it is now. And the best bit about it is, because he's familiar with it, if I do need any help or any mechanical stuff needs work, he's more than happy to come out and work on it with me. So it really hasn't traveled around all that much. The history of this car and why it's so important is because many years ago my dad was, or still is, good friends with the old owner of this car. and it was actually the old owner's uncle. That's who had it originally. So it's been in the family and family friends. So it's always been around. It just hasn't been mobile for many, many years. So you could say the old owner was pretty close to this car, as it had a lot of sentimental value. And like I said, it was sad to see it go, but it will be looked after. So it's gonna be many, many months in the making, getting this thing up to where it needs to be. I'd be more than happy to get it back on the road sooner rather than later, just to see how it drives. But all in good time, we can't rush these things. So I hope you enjoy the journey as well. And on that note, I'll be closing up this video.